Our planet's surface hides stories of connection, conflict, and transformation. These 10 maps reveal hidden layers of global history, challenging what you think you know about the world. In 1492, two worlds collided, unleashing the Columbian Exchange. Maize, potatoes, and tomatoes crossed the Atlantic, transforming diets and economies. Horses and cattle arrived in the Americas, reshaping cultures and landscapes. But the most devastating imports were diseases like smallpox, causing catastrophic loss of life among indigenous peoples. This map is a stark record of a biological exchange that brought both opportunity and tragedy. The Mongol Empire's secret weapon wasn't just its armies, it was the yam, a vast relay network. Riders sped messages across Eurasia, changing the pace of history. The yam enabled trade, diplomacy, and the flow of ideas along the Silk Road. Under the Pax Mongolica, gunpowder, science, and religions moved freely. This map reveals the infrastructure of early globalization. For a brief era, the world was more connected than ever before. The transatlantic slave trade map traces a triangle of forced migration and suffering. Over 12 million Africans were shipped to the Americas, fueling plantation economies and European wealth. The consequences, demographic upheaval, enduring racism, and social disruption, still shape societies today. This map is a geography of pain and resilience. The spread of Islam followed trade winds, not just armies. Merchants and scholars carried faith from East Africa to Indonesia, blending Islam with local cultures. Great centers of learning like Timbuktu flourished along these routes. This map shows how commerce, not conquest, often shapes belief. Potosi's silver fueled a global economy in the 16th century. Silver crossed the Atlantic to Spain, then on to bankers and merchants across Europe. The biggest demand came from China, linking continents through trade. This map reveals the birth of a global market where fortunes and crises spanned oceans. The world's economies were now inextricably linked. Polynesian navigators settled the Pacific with skill and intention, not by accident. Using stars, swells, and birds, they voyaged thousands of miles in double-hulled canoes. Their planned expansion reached Hawaii, Rapa Nui, and New Zealand. This map celebrates human ingenuity and challenges myths of primitive exploration. It's a story of daring and scientific mastery. Africa's straight borders are the legacy of colonial arrogance. At the Berlin Conference, European powers carved up the continent, ignoring cultures and geography. These artificial lines forced rivals together and split communities apart. The result, decades of instability and conflict. This map shows how decisions made in Europe still shape Africa today. The Cold War map is a patchwork of proxy wars, not a simple East-West divide. Superpowers armed local conflicts from Vietnam to Afghanistan, devastating nations far from Washington or Moscow. Millions suffered as countries became pawns in a global struggle. The legacies, instability, radicalization still echo today. The Cold War was never truly cold for much of the world. Modern migration is a global tide, redrawing nations and identities. People move for safety, opportunity, and hope from Latin America to North America, and from the Middle East to Europe. Migration enriches cultures and economies but also sparks debate and tension. This map shows humanity in motion, dynamic, diverse, and transformative. Borders are more porous than we imagine. Today's most urgent map charts climate change, rising seas, expanding deserts, and shifting habitats. Small island nations face extinction, the Arctic opens new trade routes, and millions are displaced. The environmental crisis ignores borders and demands global action. This map is a call to recognize our shared future. The choices we make now will define the next century. Maps are never neutral. They reflect power, perspective, and purpose. Each map we've explored reveals hidden connections and challenges simple narratives. They show how trade, migration, and ideas have always linked our world. By making the unseen visible, maps give voice to the forgotten and reveal the complexity of our past. History is not a single story, but a web of actors and events. Thank you for joining this journey through time and space. Subscribe for more myth-busting history. There's always more to discover.